touchdown, the two-time All-American, Travis Hunter.
89 back with you, James Palmer, Steve Smith Sr. This is a special edition. We've seen Smitty's big board, but we didn't have this guy on the big board because he's a special exemption. The two-way phenom in Travis Hunter. We're going to break him down as a wide receiver. Almost everybody I've talked to in the NFL, I have not talked to 32 teams, Steve, but everybody I've spoken to says he is the #1 wide receiver on their board. Obviously, with your board, it's a little bit different because Travis Hunter is this unicorn, as he calls himself,
yes.
This enigma, playing both sides of the football. We were just at his showcase, not his pro day, Steve, together there in CU.
Showcase.
Man, that was a blast. We can get into that a little bit. We got to see him run some routes. It was fun to hang, Steve.
It was.
But we're going to get into Travis Hunter, who the consensus around the league when I talk to people, Steve, is shifting more towards, I hope Travis Hunter plays receiver in the NFL.
Why is that?
And because I think he's a very good receiver. As one personnel director actually just texted me a little while ago, I think he's a better receiver than a corner, and quote, it's not even close.
Oh, wow. Is that after or before his showcase?
His showcase? That is after the showcase, but he said that decision was made prior to the showcase. I guess we'll start with this because we didn't see him backpedal once during the showcase, did we? We only saw him run routes. Didn't run a 40. We'll never see Travis Hunter run a 40. This is really the only workout that we got a chance to see. We saw it in person. Your initial take, because it was just as a wide receiver of the showcase, Steve, was what?
None of these guys, including Travis Hunter, are finished products. So a lot of people that are looking and watching, we're all in the basement. General managers, unless you're with a team. Yep. So I'm putting myself in that same category. I'm not above or below. I'm just in the basement with you being GM.
I don't think you are.
Oh, appreciate it.
I mean, a number of people that came up to you during the showcase asking for your opinion, whether it was a head coach or as a coordinator or a position coach or a scout. Man, I'm just saying, I'll say it so you don't have to.
Don't tell all these people actually listen to me.
They do.
They're still here in Carolina, there's some fans that are still holding it against me because Jonathan Mingo got traded. It's not my fault. So I'm perplexed because there are things about Travis that I really like, and there's some things that I can see being problematic at some point. I do think his small frame, just like anybody, his small frame until he can go through a season, just like Devontae Smith, just like Xavier Worthy. Small frame, such a physical sport. And small frame guys are no different than big frame guys. I've seen guys who look the part and get injured and rarely come back the same way. So it's just kind of nitpicking and critiquing. So many people want to talk about or need an answer. Is he a wide receiver or DB? Is it DB, wide receiver? Steve, what do you think? I think what people are missing is the fact that this young man has been able to retain a playbook on the offensive side and retain a playbook on the defensive side. He's in this meeting one day and has the game plan, and he's in this meeting another day, has the game plan, and then in practice, he's playing wide receiver and corner. It's remarkable, and I think there's not enough people who are really looking at what we're watching, which is a young man, one person doing two jobs, right? It's like that old In Living Color, there was Jamaican man, and he had 3 jobs. You remember that? Yeah. Like he just had multiple jobs. Mm-hmm. And I just find that when you sit back and when we were at that at the showcase at Colorado, University of Colorado, I was going, I don't think enough people really realize the responsibility and the commitment. It's not the football intelligence. It's the intelligence to learn 2 different positions, responsibilities, assignments, alignment, rules, tendencies. Like there's so much information. What is the defense doing on 3rd down? Oh, and what is the offense doing on 3rd down? So you need to know Nebraska's defense on 3rd down, what this corner or linebacker is doing. And then you need to know what Nebraska's quarterback and wide receiver are doing 3rd and 15 or 2nd and 7. What are the tendencies? I'm in press coverage, or I'm in zone. So there's just a lot of information.
How much more information, Steve, at the NFL level than collegiate level? With what you're saying, if he's going to try to do this at the next level, how much more info is there to digest during the week?
It depends on the team and what kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
Because there are some philosophies where one word tells everybody what to do, and then on defense it may be if he's playing in the slot or dime. The responsibility is different depending on the alignment they come in. If they shift, now he's playing linebacker. If he's playing corner, then there's a responsibility cover 3 or man coverage or zone. So the workload, my humble opinion, is maybe triple, quadruple.
Man, that's a lot.
Because you have Wednesday's install, which is first and second down for everybody. So first and second down for offense, first and second down for defense. So so Travis in a meeting and he gets the game plan for the wide receivers for the offense for first and second down. Boom. Then he has to know first and second for the opposing offense and what defense they're running. Then on the next day is third down and the fringe. So the fringe is right there between the 20 and 15 and there, right? 15. So now he has to know what offensive plays they're running on, what they're running on offense. And then defensively, what is that offense running and what are we running? And what are the tendencies in this formation? And then the next day, they got red zone and 2 minute, right? So the Hail Mary play, the trickeration play for the offense. What is his responsibility? And then defense. What is his responsibility if they get in this formation and do this?
I'm exhausted and we're just talking about it.
Bro, I'm tired already talking. I need a drink. I need to drink me some caffeine. I want to see that boy caffeine intake.
Unbelievable. It's unreal. So now listen, let's focus on the receiver side of things because there's a lot of buzz out there about the Browns maybe picking Travis Hunter at 2nd overall. I will say this, talking to people in that organization, Steve, Andrew Berry has played it very close to the vest. He is not telling a lot of people in the building what he's thinking, where he wants to go with this pick. Obviously, they're looking at quarterbacks. They're looking at Abdul Carter. They're looking, you know what I mean? And so a lot of things are connected to the Browns. The reason I bring that up with them at 2 is they see him primarily as a wide receiver. I know the Browns have kicked around the idea of taking Travis Hunter at 2, and then they're picking again at the top of the 2nd, or they trade back into the back end of the 1st and get one of these other quarterbacks. Well, hey, it's Jackson Dart, say it's Quinn Ewers, say it's Tyler Shough, who's getting a lot of love from a lot of quarterback evaluators, even though he's 39 years old or something entering the NFL after 42 years of college.
Should be balling at 50.
But they've tossed that idea around, right? Where it's you get Travis, the unicorn of a talent, then we get the quarterback with the next pick. Anyways, the reason I brought them up is they're looking at him as a receiver. So let's look at him as...
So hold on.
Okay.
Now you're saying that when you look at the Browns' defense, I don't think there's any room for him to play in the secondary.
They got a good secondary.
They got
good defense.
They got a great secondary. Good. I'm not sure I necessarily see, how or who does Travis beat out at the starting corner position, because both of those guys have played really, really well. Now, when you're the 2nd overall pick, you all of a sudden things get, interesting, unique.
Yeah, but all right, let's just say it that way then. Like, there are people in the league that say, okay, say he winds up in Cleveland, you are a full-time wide receiver and a part-time corner. I know that's hard to say because the league has only seen it the other way. Coaches, evaluators, Steve, what happens to their brains when they don't have a comp for something? They explode. They need comps for everything, right? They love comps. And so could this be something that Cleveland does? I'm not saying it's exactly what happens, but we're speculating because we're talking about him as a wide receiver here. Plays full-time receiver. What are we getting, I guess, skill set wise that's already there before we talk about stuff that you'd like to see him gain in the next level? Is it the ball skills that are already there? Is it
ball skills are already there?
Right?
So his superpower is his ability to track the football. Right? I think that makes him such an elite corner. There are corners who have a hard time tracking the football. There are a ton of corners who have a hard time catching a football. Wide receivers joke all the time. Coaches joke all the time. a failed wide receiver is a corner. And Travis Hunter is not a failed wide receiver. His ability to track the football, whether it's a pick or catching the football out in the route as a wide receiver, is pretty tier 1 level.
Yeah. There's people I've talked to, Steve, that say he has the best, either, whether it's contested, contact catches, ability in that sense. He's the best in the draft at catching the football.
He runs some good routes, but he's not a finished product. He needs to work on some of those routes a little bit. Some of them he runs really good, right? They were running some whip routes, but then there's other routes where you could tell he needs a little bit more work. And some of that has to do with the offense that they were in as well. They were not in an offense that at times had a lot of variations for him in the route game. So that's not necessarily his fault. You don't get to pick and choose how your coaches utilize you. You just try to make the best of what they're doing.
Yeah. Speaking of routes, before we get into the film of Travis Hunter, it was funny. I mean, this was broadcast on NFL Network. You and I were standing right there. I got word that he was not going to run routes as late as Thursday night, and then Friday morning rolls around. He is going to run. We saw them kind of figuring out what he's going to run in the morning, and I get a text from a receiver coach who's watching it on TV going, what are these routes? These routes are not in a playbook. Like,
nope.
these But also he said, I understand why they're doing it. This is to showcase how twitchy he is, how he moves unlike anybody else in the draft. A lot of it was, right, Steve, at the line of scrimmage. I think you could say wasted movement, but it was a lot to showcase how he moves. And option stuff, showcase how he moves. And that's the way some of the showcase went. That's not what he's going to run in the NFL.
No, he's going to get and here's the thing. I'm not going to show it on there, but he tried one of those moves against Colorado State, number 7. Mm-hmm. The ball went to Jimmy Horn Jr. and Travis got jammed up a little bit. So
happens.
But no one's excluded for getting jammed up. It happens. But
yeah,
I thought it was okay. People were like, oh man, he was out there with no gloves. Knowing the circumstances, I think he forgot them. He wasn't out there on purpose without no gloves. I would just call him out. Travis forgot his gloves.
We did do a hand comparison between reps. Remember that? He came over to you and I.
He was coming to Raz and just mess with me. He was like, that's why I want to. He was like, that's why I'm coming over here, because he was like, you don't care. Like, I was just having a good time and taking in the atmosphere. And so I looked and I said, you got little hands. And so he kind of looks at me, and he's everybody's taller than me. What the do? Right? And then he looks at me, he goes, oh, he was gonna say you have little hands too, and he goes, oh wow, you have big hands. And so we did the little hand thing right there. He was like, oh.
Before we get into the film though, also remember, you can always interact with us. Comments, whatever, interact with each other, argue, banter, whatever you choose.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, DB, receiver. Everybody wanted Steve's opinion. What's yours?
Give us your essay. We love to read your essay on what you believe Travis Hunter is or is not. But also remember, you ain't Travis Hunter.
This episode of 89 is brought to you by BetterHelp. In football, you have a support system, right? Whether it's your coaches, your trainers, or your teammates to help you kind of succeed. But what about you? What about off the field and making yourself the best version of yourself? Well, BetterHelp can help you do that. I know oftentimes we're playing hero ball, right? We're going at it all by ourselves. We got to do it alone. But when you talk to a therapist, you have an opportunity to alleviate that. And we're not just talking about major trauma. We're talking about coping with a variety of things, whether it's relationship issues, just overall stress, just creating the best environment for you to be the best version of yourself. And BetterHelp can help you do that. Now, the best thing about it is BetterHelp is 100% online, so it is both affordable and convenient. With over 5 million people participating worldwide, well, you're in good hands. So build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/89 and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/89.
All right, so we're first play. Hey, you don't get to choose your opponent. You just line up and run the routes. Down at the bottom. 9 yards off the ball.
Whew.
Looks like it's -3 from the numbers. Got a little zone coverage. That corner don't have no idea what he did, or the safety. Goodness gracious. Let's look at this. So the corner should be going either staying or going straight. It goes backwards. And then this goofy looking dude right here, he ain't got no feet. Got church socks on.
I'm not gonna lie, church socks got me good.
Look, he opens up the gate, and then instead of shooting by, he goes that way. And it breaks down. He don't want no action. Hey, look, he's ooh. Watch this dude. Look at this son of a gun right here. Hey, if you in the comments, find out who this guy is. Look at that. Look at, oh God, oh googly moogly. That's just darn near tragic.
Pretty good zone beater already is something I'm told.
Yes.
Steve. Really
yeah,
good
he
feel.
knows how to sit. Well, look, he knows how to sit in zone coverage because he plays. He knows the weakness and the strength of that defense. He knows what you don't want to do. All right, back at it again. Back shoulder, bang, goes inside. Corner looks back. Some people say that is pass interference. Hey, can I just say this?
Yeah.
I never trust a corner or a wide receiver when I can see your navel.
You weren't a big fan of Alvin Mack from the program? Well, he was a linebacker, though.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't a real character, though.
Mm-mm.
They also broke his ankle in that movie. So
Yeah, they
that
did.
just tells you.
Never played again.
Nice little soft. Look at that. Wow. Does a good job, man. Goes
Good
up.
throw.
It's a good throw. Shador has some good throws as well, too. I
He
thought
did.
that was pretty impressive. Now, I like this play because it shows his patience, shows his ability to not rush anything, quick feet in a route, doesn't panic. Boom.
That was like some of the stuff we saw at the showcase.
Exactly. That's why I picked these to show you.
You
When
know
people
what you're
saying, man, they don't ever run these kind of routes. Yeah, they do. When Pat Sherman's your offense coordinator, you will.
Steve, describe for everybody, though, the combination of this, because to have the ability to move like he does, as quickly as he does, but also be patient and not rush at the same time, is a hard combination to achieve. In a sense.
It's very. It's he's out there, so that's the part too. You got to make sure that you don't have Travis out there and alert the defense. Well, when Travis is out there, he's getting the football. So there is an element of surprise where he is a wide receiver. So he's on the field. Mm-hmm. Because he's on the field, you can't say he's only on the field to get the football. That's not the case. He's always on the field. So he's on the field, nothing is different. And that's why they have been able to have enough success, because he doesn't telegraph, well, when he's in, he's getting a football. Mm-hmm. Because he's in there all the time. And so It doesn't matter. Now, on some of the routes they were saying, let me show you. This is a route right here that shows these exactly. See? Boom. We saw that route, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Get that against the... Look at it. DB. When I talk about getting outside your framework, look at this DB right here. He gets outside his framework. So when he has to go get him, look, see?
You grabbing it there.
This is how you pull a groin. Let's go back.
Ooh.
There we go.
It's like he freezes him, Steve, right?
Yeah, he does. Goes up, freeze, goes up, and goes that way.
impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I do want to throw this out there, Steve. We're never going to see him run a 40. I think most teams I talked to said he's in the 4.4s though, which is, what, you think that's wrong?
I think he might be 4.5.
That's what I was about to say. I thought you were questioning me. They think he's in the 4.4s, which is not a problem. My point is maybe low 4.5s. I've gotten that from multiple teams. And listen, there's a lot of number ones that run like that in this league.
But Travis is also has a longer stride. It takes a little bit of time for him to build up. So that's why. And look, his coach is one of the best coaches out there that knows exactly how this process works.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you making plays on the field, you don't have a 40, doesn't matter.
Actually, there was also a lot of, Steve, when are you going to be a coach? Steve, when are you going to be a coach?
Yes. Yeah, Steve, you want to coach? I don't want to coach. You know
I know
why
what your
I don't
quote
want to
was.
coach?
I know what your quote was. You can say it.
Here's why I don't like to coach. Well, there's several reasons why I don't want to coach. One, I'm kind of a free spirit. I don't like to be put in a box. Okay, I'm a policy bender. Okay, some would say, I would say it's a pretty good one. I'm an HR nightmare sometimes. Okay. Allegedly, okay, allegedly.
Yeah.
But one of the real reasons, I told someone, I said, you know what I don't? They said, what? I don't like repeating myself, bro.
That was the one.
I do not like repeating myself.
That was the one. I think you said that to Vance Joseph, the DC for the Denver Broncos.